my name is Emily Anderson, and today I will be persuading you as to why animals should not be kept in captivity. Everybody loves going to zoos and aquariums to see their favorite animals all in one place and get far closer than they ever could in the wild. From dangerous ocean predators like sharks to cute little rainforest monkeys, these places are home to hundreds of different species of animals. However, this is not where they should be kept. Animals deserve a life outside of the concrete walls and metal cages that we keep them in for our own enjoyment. They can't speak up for themselves, but it's apparent that they don't like this way of life and long to be set free in the wild where they belong. The effects that these enclosures are having on animals has not gone unnoticed, but not enough is being done to stop this. Animals of all species should not be kept in captivity due to the negative effects that this way of life is having on these innocent creatures. When looking at how these enclosures are negatively affecting the animals inside, we will first look at how these living conditions are proving to be fatal for its victims. Secondly, we will look at how the spaces where they are being kept are far too small and unnatural for them. And finally, how animals are treated poorly in these places. First, when we are looking at how animals are kept in captivity have shorter lifespans, we will look at Chris Draper from the Born Free Foundation, accessed on March 19, 2022, who said that there are many factors that can contribute to accidental deaths in zoos. If the animal's enclosure is below the public viewing area, there is a larger chance that someone will accidentally drop something into the exhibit that could injure or kill the animal. He also said that the Como Park Zoo says that 26% of male gorillas and 20% of female gorillas will die within the first year of being born when in captivity. Well, that's not the case in the wild. According to an article from the Humane Society, accessed on March 19, 2022, animals in captivity have shorter lifespans than their wild companions. Some species of whales and dolphins do not breed well in captivity and have never produced surviving offspring. Many captive whales and dolphins have a shorter life expectancy than others of their species that live in the wild, and that was from no particular author. However, from an article from Pet Keen, accessed on March 19, 2022, it says that bottlenose dolphins who have been captured are 6 times more likely to die immediately after, usually between the journey from their original home to their new home environment, says Oliver Jones. Next, we will look at how these enclosures for these animals are far too small and unnatural. According to the same article from my first main point from the Humane Society, accessed on March 19, 2022, living in captivity is nothing like the ocean environment that marine animals are used to, and they're suffering in the end because of it. In aquariums, their tanks only allow for a few strokes in any direction before coming to a wall. Because they're so shallow, the natural tendencies of whales and dolphins are actually reversed, and they spend more than half their time at the water surface instead of being able to swim or dive or do anything. Also in captivity, killer whales have an issue of a collapsed dorsal fin. Without the support of water, gravity will pull on their tall top fins, and over time, as the whale matures, it will collapse. And this is experienced in all male killer whales and many females, while it's only experienced 1% in the wild. According to an article from the New York Times, accessed on March 19, 2022, zoos don't have the capacities needed for these certain animals to thrive. The typical zoo enclosure for a polar bear is 1/1,000,000th the size of its home range in the wild. Some captive polar bears also spend 25% of their day in captivity in what is scientifically known as stereotypic pacing, which is just back and forth all day. And also infant mortality for captive animals is 65% in captivity, says Mark Dare, who also said that polar bears, lions, tigers, cheetahs, and other large carnivorous mammals do so poorly in zoos that they should either drastically improve their efforts or just stop keeping them altogether. Finally, we will talk about how some facilities are treating their animals with poor treatment that at the end of the day is doing more harm than good. According to an article from Sentiment Media, accessed on March 19, 2022, animals have been receiving poor treatment in their zoos and aquariums, and they are actually using them for exploitation purposes. Zoos engage in animal exploitation by profiting from the visitor attention, and this is all while providing them with very poor treatment. Since 1995, zoos have also started to turn to medicinal methods, and antidepressants, tranquilizers, and antipsychotic drugs are being used to alleviate depression and aggression among zoo animals across America, says Zoe Rosenberger, who also said that zoos are exploiting their animals and causing them more harm than good, and their conservation efforts are being misguided at best. According to an article from the New York Times, accessed on March 19, 2022, zoos are resorting to medicinal methods for dealing with the mental health of their animals, like I said before. And this is just to make end of the day, to make the lives of the zookeepers or whoever works at the aquarium, it's to make their lives easier. Many zoos use Prozac and other psychoactive drugs on at least some of their animals to deal with the mental health effects of captivity. The Los Angeles Zoo used Celexa, an antidepressant, to control the aggression of one of its chimps, and the Central Park Zoo used Prozac on a polar bear named Gus as an attempt to stop him from swimming endless figure eights in his pool. To conclude, these captive animals are being held prisoner for our benefits. How is this in any way morally acceptable? They don't deserve this life of being trapped behind glass and concrete or being stuck in a metal cage just so that we can go up and take a picture of them. If the roles were reversed, we would want to be set free too. Animals of all species should not be kept in captivity. They are undeserving of this way of life. They have smaller lifespans than their wild companions. Accidental incidents in these enclosures are leading to so many more deaths than there should be. The living conditions are nothing compared to what they have in the wild. And they're doing more harm than good at the end of the day in these facilities. Nobody enjoys being locked up against their will, so why should we voluntarily do this to these animals? The effects that living in captivity is having is so visible on their mental and physical health, and they deserve to be set free. They don't have a voice to speak up for themselves, but we can do something at the end of the day to help.